More Amira, please. Brooks is the unsung hero of this show. And Charlie, get off your skateboard and get a job, bro. Welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
Shows as shallow as the chances that a single producer or editor on this entire show could give a single less about Charlie.
That's true.
Yeah, no, they don't like Charlie.
Yeah,
We don't like Charlie.
We were up here talking about being mean to waiters the other day. This guy must have been a complete shit show to work with, because you just don't do that to a main character this early on if you have a single ounce of like want to protect him or give him a fair shot at a season of, you know, let's find his arc. He's going to start here, but we're going to land here. Like,
there might not be an arc for Charlie.
Oh my God. I have
Crash
very,
and burn. That's Charlie's arc.
I have very little to say about this episode today, because I think that I've literally gone so hard on him and felt like a little thing in the back of my head every time, like, God, you were really going so gnarly on this kid. Like, what if all the things that were possibilities of like something that happened to him at some point or whatever, like what if those ever come out and like you're gonna feel like a real a-hole. This episode was so like every single thing we've been saying probably times 100 is actually seems to be true about him. He seems to be just horrible. And I'm just like, I don't even need to say a ton more about it.
This
like,
episode
he said it himself.
Yeah, no, he did the job for us.
Yeah. It's like even I felt a little bad by the end of it for him. Like,
let's jump into it.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
So we start off the episode with Ariana and Ava finishing up their argument.
Yeah.
All I have to say about this argument is it could have been so much worse. And I do think the hottest person in the room was someone who wasn't even involved in it, which was Gia. I saw Teresa come out and she was like, I'm Italian. We're Italian. We use our hands, which is very true if anyone's seen me on this show. But it could have been way worse. I have a feeling they're not going to be friends. I like Ava, but I do see she does have a little bit of like that elitist kind of thing in her. That doesn't mean that she doesn't work hard, support herself, any of that stuff. But like, she was raised around probably a lot of famous, famous and wealthy, notable,
high highs, low lows,
notable people. And I just think she sees, you know, Ariana roll into town listen, I love Ariana. Ariana doesn't look like she's from New York City. Do you know what I mean? She looks like she's new to town. And that's part of what, and Ava does have great style, but also your mom's a fashion designer. You're a model. Like I understand what she was saying, because I think there is a lack of polish with Ariana's look, even though I think Ariana is adorable and I love her so much. If we're just talking about fashion. It's that like Kardashian adjacent stuff where you find the trend that you like and it's the lip injections or I don't know if she has her lips injected. I can't remember, probably, because I feel like lip injections are the new boob job. But I saw what Ava was saying and I just think she should have kept her mouth shut in the first place. And Amira said it. She was like, it's not classy. Just don't, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all in this respect. And it just could have been way worse. But Gia is a ride or die friend.
No, she is. And I thought I would have loved it if she would have just stopped at, I'm Italian. We talk with our hands. I wish she would have stopped there instead of saying, you don't like it, get over it. And I'm like, it just, again, I said something last week about how like everyone here, like you are your parents' children. Like there's just a little piece, I think, that we will continue to see. And that was just like a wild, random thought. I'm looking to have thoughts. I'm looking to have thoughts for this show. But that kind of played out exactly like that. Like she might think that a few things are going to make her queen of the show.
Yeah.
Because they did make Teresa queen. There's only one. There's only one Teresa.
She's just the princess right now.
Yeah. And Gia is so sweet. I don't want her to go against that, because she's seen that drama can take you super far on these shows.
Well,
like,
how about
she's
this?
so sweet as
on
is.
Jersey, she just had a really bad falling out with her uncle, who, for those of you who don't watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, her uncle's wife is Melissa, who is a Real Housewife of New Jersey as
Yeah.
well. And they have real family drama off camera.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
And there was just this conversation that her and her uncle were having, and her uncle was the one who flipped out and I think maybe even raised his voice. And she was like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to yell with you. And she handled it like more of an adult than he did.
Yeah.
And he's a Gorga, he's passionate, whatever.
Yeah.
And he is, but like, it's still not an excuse.
Joe Gorga was yelling at Gia?
He wasn't yelling at her, but he was talking at her.
Yeah.
Talking at her is
Okay.
what I mean.
Yeah.
And it was, he was like, you don't know what I've done for your family, and your dad's a scumbag. And I'll say that time and time again. Like, it's her dad. You can't go after him. Like, it's just, and her dad, by the way, I know nothing about the guy besides what I've seen on TV. Maybe he is a scumbag, maybe he isn't, but it doesn't matter. That's still her dad.
Yeah.
So she just didn't, my point is she didn't bite back.
Yeah.
And so I think that she knows enough to hopefully not go into that. She'll get a little sassy, but she's not going to get her. She's not her mom in that respect.
I hope the show doesn't go down the drain.
I think it got really good. Like, this was the best episode.
I thought this was a great episode.
And I remember next to nothing of it, but that's okay. But I remember just thinking every scene felt like it packed a punch. Every scene you found out more about everybody there and what they're doing. They're all really on their own. They all have an individual hustle. And I in a way, I'm wondering if they are trying to kind of phase Charlie out of it because they're seeing the kind of gold that they have in these kids and that they can have their own stories on their own. Like, they don't need this ratty villain, like.
One of our comments that I saved to read later talks about how they don't like Charlie, but he is our villain. And so we might need him, but I don't think this person is wrong. I just want them to be wrong.
I think what we've seen with Ariana and Gia and Ava already is that there are going to be heads bumping and people coming in and with different approaches to things, some a little sassier than others. Some people are going to trip over shit. And I would just, I don't know, like, maybe let's just see how it goes with them. And if we need to bring in a villain later, like, there's always time for that. You
could always find a villain.
You can always find
a
a villain. Yeah, exactly. So
like you said, they're all except Charlie, and I think Riley's still trying to figure it out, or maybe she's figured it out. I think she might just be embarrassed for whatever reason to pursue being a DJ or pursue the music career that she wants. But they do all seem to have a hustle. So get rid of Charlie and let challenge be the hustle.
Yeah.
Let their quest for all these experiences and these companies and living their lives be the villain, try out a new villain. Life.
Yeah.
Like,
life will kick you in the teeth.
Yeah,
enough.
no
We don't need
worse
to add
villain
Charlie.
than
The
life.
city is the villain. It
Yeah,
could
New
be,
York
because it's tough.
And yeah, they kind of set that up a little bit with Ariana when she was like, I'm so excited. And then she's on the train and it's kind of like a little
fish out of water.
Not fish out of water, but they just shot it very panic attacky and like the editing was very interface and she just so it was like, yeah, cool, we're in New York, but like, oh shit, this is not where I come from.
Even close.
Yeah.
Atlanta and New York are such different cities.
So yeah, I'm interested in watching Charlie skate off and deal with his shit on his own. Like, I don't need it. And just let not knowing what alpaca is be the villain when you're trying to start a clothing line.
Yeah.
That seems pretty challenging.
Well, we see, what George is up to in the next scene with her business partner, that girl, Danny. To me, I feel like for whatever reason, and I could be wrong, but Georgia is either like so ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So like she is really on it and smart and all this stuff, or like totally a bag of like magic beans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say full of shit because I don't actually feel that way about her. I just mean like she is really either throwing maybe some of the parties are a bust, but like she's had some good ones. she is creative, she is a hustler, she's got good ideas, or it's like she will not be doing this in 5 years because it's not sustainable, and I just can't figure it out yet.
Her confidence is probably going to get her
Totally.
somewhere, and just she doesn't really live on this planet. Like she's really, so if you're living on a different planet, then you're operating by that other planet's rules. I think a lot of issues that we can have, I know speaking for myself, can be in my head, and I might make problems bigger than they are. For someone like Georgia, I'm not sure if she sees the kind of problems that I would see right in front of me. So that's could be easily to her benefit just as well as it could be to her detriment.
Totally.
That she could just fly right past them, and then the problem's like none the wiser. You know, like it's like, oh, well, hey, I'm back. Hey, you were supposed to stop. What? Did you hear something? I don't know how to make that analogy, but there's I think this will aid her.
Aid her?
Seeing things as she sees them. Some people could say, like, you're not living in the real world. Well, the real world is full of problems. So maybe like just.
And she also lives in a very niche, kooky world.
Yeah.
So like she can exist in that world because that's the world
Yeah.
that she plays in. I think I just am still very 50-50. Like she might fly past that problem and then the problem disappears, but
Yeah.
then she also might fly past that problem and then wherever you go, there you are. So that
Yeah.
problem's going to follow her
Yeah.
to the next job or the next relationship or
Right.
whatever it is. And I just don't know how it's going to turn out yet.
Just by her going up to that door, like her and her partner were talking about Meredith's party.
Yeah.
And I think her partner says something like, so I'm just nervous because that basic Meredith's party is in 5 minutes, basically. She's like, actually, it basically already happened, like with the amount of time that they had to get ready for it.
Yeah.
So if that were the case and time was really super like tight and there's only like 5 minutes to complete all the planning for this, if I were to walk up to that venue and see that like, oh, our venue is no longer our venue, no one, like, I would have a absolute meltdown and just think all of the worst of those problems would fall on my head. And I'd be thinking, how am I going to tell them oh, I'm so embarrassed. My career is over. Like, this is a high profile person that I'm doing this thing for. They're filming this, right? Like, I would be just thinking of all of the horrible things. And she was just like, can you believe this?
Yeah.
Like, and then she just found another spot. Like,
She did.
like no problem. So what I'm saying about her is that could aid her in a way.
Totally.
Like, whereas like I would just shut down and be like, well, I guess I'll just move out of the city now. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, I existed here and probably ruined all
Sorry,
of
I
your
ruined your
lives.
caviar party.
Yeah, exactly. So
But if you wouldn't have, because if you were in her position, you knew that you had 7 more venues in your back pocket and 12 people that owed you favors and Charlie's speaker. So you were going to be fine. And
Charlie's speaker.
that to me, cause I was like, I was like, okay, you throw these crazy parties. Cool job. That's not your career. Like, it's a fun thing to do in your 20s. It's a fun story
to throw parties like, I mean.
Well, let me finish.
Oh, yeah.
So like the way she's doing it, right? Because you're not gonna be a 50-year-old throwing parties for 22-year-olds who just got out of prison, right? Like,
No,
that's not gonna happen.
it'll evolve with you. Then you get hired by,
right.
yeah.
So I was like, cool job, whatever. When that happened, I think her laughing, like, and bending over, I think that was her having a little breakdown. I think that's Georgia's breakdown, is just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna laugh fucking like a weirdo, right? That being said, and like part of me is like, okay, like, oh yeah, you didn't know the thing was till the next day, and like there was no struggle. It was a 30-second montage of phone call. Like, so the drama was pretty much produced right out of it because there's no drama. She knew she had another place. They probably knew that place was getting shut down. They probably weren't going to go. The producers were like, what do you mean? Let's just film a thing there and then we'll have like. My guess is that was a fake scene, pretty much. Not fake that the thing didn't get shut down, but fake that, like, that being said, let's forget that it was. Let's pretend that it was all real. They showed up the day before. That notice just went up. And, oh, my God, now we have to scramble. They did. They scrambled. They got a fucking venue.
Yeah.
They nailed it. They didn't stress. They got a new chef, a new everything. Like, so to me, I'm like, oh, you're just going to be an event planner for the rest of your life. You're going to throw parties until you're 32 and someone's like, going to come to you and be like, I want to do a reception after my wedding, and I want it to be super. And then I want to do a party for my husband just got nominated, or my wife is retiring, you know.
Okay.
So like she'll move into that, and
She'll
that
just marry Diplo.
or that. I see her being the event planner for what's the big thing, the Met Gala.
Okay.
Whoever puts on the Met Gala, one day that's going to be her and her buddy. Like,
I just don't know if she would be interested in that.
I'm not saying
I feel
literally
like
the Met
she would.
Gala. I'm
Okay.
saying just like her. I could foresee her and her butt. Like there's no. We've talked about this before. Like that is New York. Like she is New York. There's no other description. Georgia is New York City. Everything about her is New York City. So like she is that quirky, weirdo, charming, kind of flaky, busy, you know, will throw the sickest party, but you know, like some people might, I don't know. I just foresee her being that person in the future that's like, oh no, I've lived here a bazillion. Oh, you need to throw a party? I'll call Georgia and
She'll produce it for
what's
you.
her face? Yeah. They've been
Danny.
doing this shit forever. They've been throwing parties since they were 20 years old.
And they can get hired by big brands to do launch parties.
No,
you
I
know?
think they will. I think
Yeah,
that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
If what, I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Brooks, but somebody was like, I think it was Brooks.
Yeah.
He was like, I
Like, I
enjoy
love
her
their
parties.
parties.
Not everyone agrees with me, but I like. So that
And I
kind of
loved
made
when
me
he was
think
like, and I'm allowed to have my opinion.
yeah, but it also made me think like, oh, do you suck at this job?
No, that's why I said I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I'm 50-50 because I heard that from him. You see her kind of like tuning out during the meeting, but then you also saw her hustle and get things fixed, or even if that was all produced, she still has a good business partner who got things fixed. So either way, it's
Yeah.
working out for her right now. So I'm on the ride with her.
Yeah,
The
me too.
weirdo that she's going to be able to sell, it's like she is before while they were waiting for Charlie later on, and she was like a birthday party themed birthday. Like that's the kind of dumb shit that hipsters say that people who aren't hipsters are like, yes, get her for my party. We're doing like a birthday themed birthday. It's George's
With
idea.
a sheet cake from
So
the
a
supermarket.
birthday, yeah, so just a birthday, like
Yeah.
with balloons. So a birthday
Yeah.
for a child themed birthday.
But
So like,
it's Mike,
was-
it's ironic.
yeah, no, 100%. Like, so
Okay.
that's cool. And like, there's
Yeah.
so many people tuning out right now being like, this guy doesn't get it. You're right.
Well, I mean,
don't
it's
fucking
no,
get it.
that's I'm like keeping those people in mind when I say that. Like, is Georgia even interested in the Met Gala? How long does the Met Gala go
Not
with this new
now.
generation?
When
You
Georgia's
know, like
42
how
and
long
she's
are
been
people-
throwing parties for however many
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. I just sometimes I wonder about like institutions like that you think like, of course it will live forever. It seems like there could be at a certain point, some generations might just be like,
Even Rome fell.
yeah.
So nothing
Yeah.
lasts forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this next scene to me was such a head scratcher. It's Brooks styling his mom. And I don't use the air quotes because I don't believe Brooks has good taste and is putting his mom's look together. As an avid housewife watcher, to me, Meredith Marks's brand, I don't want to say it's a nothing burger because of course it's not. She sells product. She has clothes that she does, jewelry that she makes. She's never sold me on it in the sense of like when Bethany Frankel was doing Skinny Girl, I knew what she was selling. When, who's other people that have businesses on this show? I'm blanking.
Sonia Morgan with her toaster
Well,
strudels.
no, it's a toaster oven and it never got to market. That's why I didn't bring her up because it's not a good example. But my point is
Craig Conover has pillows.
great, Craig. Like Craig was selling pillows, right? Meredith always talks about her brand so much. And sometimes we'll see like a jewelry, something, but then Brooks is like, my mom's company is constantly doing releases on like jewelry, sweatsuits, caviar, candles. And it's like, whoa, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so I'm just confused by the company. And therefore I am worried for Brooks and clearly he doesn't have to worry about money in the sense that like his family works together. They will figure it out. I just think the best thing that he could do for himself is leave that company, get a job on his own, cut his teeth at like a real, not again, this is no shade to Meredith, but like at like a real fashion house or with buyers or something, so that he's not just in the cycle of like what's going on relative to his place in the family
Yeah.
and trying to become a fashion designer,
Yeah.
entrepreneur, creative director, all the things. Like, no, really work your way up
Yeah.
in a company where you're not related to anyone, because that's where he'll learn the most.
I know. Having the title of creative director at this stage in his life, it's like me moving into that McMansion that I lived in Santa Barbara on the cliff. Like, it's all downhill from here. You know, like, it's sometimes you get something too early, and then like, because I listen, I'm not trying to say he's not a creative director for all intents and purposes of like the
But he's
company that he works
not.
with, but like that's a job that like for a brand that does have that kind of recognition.
Yes.
Now, granted, I know that like you're like, oh, I've never. The only reason I would ever buy the only reason I have ever thought of buying Meredith Marks caviar is because it just happens to be the caviar that keeps popping up in my feed after Bethany Frankel has already convinced me that I need to start trying caviar because she's putting it on fucking everything.
Wait, have you never had it?
I've had it, but like just very like, oh, do
On
you want to
sushi
try
or
this? Oh, great, thanks. And then like I move on with my life. Like I think I had it at Bonnie's and Bogey's the last time, just because we happened to pop by there when they got a gift and like.
But I think you would actually really like it.
I don't even remember what it tastes like. Like
It's
I've had it so few times.
Yeah,
a little briny,
gooey salt balls.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Snappy, poppy,
why does
gooey salt balls.
Why does Bethany like it so much? She likes gooey
People
salt
love
balls.
No, people absolutely love caviar. Like flip out, love it. It's like some people don't like lobster. I loved lobster when I ate fish.
Yeah,
but point B, it's not, listen, when I say like he's not a creative director, I'm not trying to come down on him because I really like Brooks.
No, me too.
I just mean, you look at brands that have a creative director and they're doing many different things than Brooks is currently doing.
Yeah.
It's not a position to be taken lightly. And his mom's company seems to kind of be all over the place. You're producing jewelry, tracksuits, and caviar. I'm not understanding the through line.
Yeah.
Even Louis Vuitton that does a million different
Hold
things.
on. You don't understand the through line between jewelry, tracksuits, and caviar?
I know, I'm daft.
Get your tracksuit, your jewels, and eat some caviar.
That's right.
That's how you
totally
do it.
right. Although I will say, whenever I am at any of these like Housewives things, they always have Meredith Marks caviar.
Listen,
because no, she's there, like she's gifted it to the event.
Totally. I was noticing that so many things that Brooks was saying, I was like, I really like you, and that's why I'm just like going, that's funny. But if I didn't, even if I just liked him a little bit less, I would be like, oh my God, Brooks. Like Brooks was giving a little bit of like,
not 100%. Like if Charlie was like, I'm the creative crypto consultant at a new firm of my dad's firm. He started a division of crypto consultancy, and I'm the lead crypto consultant. Then you'd be like, this motherfucker, fuck you.
Yeah.
And his dad is way more
yeah.
Successful than Meredith, I'm assuming. Like just from not saying anything other than he has a company, she has a company.
Yeah.
His
apples to
company
apples,
makes more money. Like, you would think Charlie was a total douchebag.
Yeah.
But because Brooks is Brooks.
Well, I did
yeah.
say
That's
in the
cute.
first episode, I go, I feel like I'm going to like Brooks. So I'm not saying this in a mean way to him, but he did one of my biggest pet peeves. It's when you meet a really young person and they're like, I am an author, a director, a consultant for a billionaire. I do crypto. I'm a creative director, entrepreneur, investor, and
getting my Reiki
rainbow
master's
maker
degree.
Like, you can't do all of that. You just can't.
Yeah. Rainbows are hard.
I hope that Meredith and Seth kind of realize, like, I know that they love him so much. They want to be close to him. They've like followed him to New York. They're a part of this show. They're supporting him like never before. And I'm sure like that Brooks has had to do, like, learn a lot of things on the job, like while doing this for his mom. You will never, ever truly learn everything that there is to know working for not just a family member, but specifically your mother, especially when also your father is as involved with her company as he is. There's just like, yes, she can send you that text that says you need to find another job by the end of the month. 99% chance is that she's going to be like, okay, well, next time just do better. Like that is not the real world. If Seth and Meredith don't realize that they are, and I say this with so much love because I love all of them.
Yeah.
Like if they don't realize that they're doing him a huge disservice by giving him this kind of a title and this role and not really holding him to account on something so major as like the labels in her clothes couldn't be put in, so it got stuck on a shipping dock for however long, you know, like that is a fireable offense for sure.
That wouldn't come via text message.
Right.
Like he needs to learn the protocol that comes in companies if he wants to start his own
Exactly.
company.
So she should actually, if they still just want to coddle him in a way, they should find someone else that he has got to work for a year under and just learn all of that. All while knowing in a year you can have your old job back, so he can like if you want to give him that much kind of security, but like you have got to finish out the entire year working for someone who is going to have no holds bars when it comes to like if you fucking leave my labels off. Not only are you fired, I will sue you. You're like, I will, like, there will be, like, I will come after you for the losses that I've incurred. Like something with high stakes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Yeah.
The next scene to me is a nothing burger, and I feel like nothing really happened at it. It's when Riley popped by Ariana and what's his name? What's her boyfriend's name? Something in H. Hudson. Hudson's new place. Again, more like first time apartment dwellers, and they don't know how the thing comes off, and they're trying to have a conversation, but it just keeps getting interrupted. I have nothing for this scene. Do you?
I got nothing. No.
Yeah. And the next scene actually to me was, again, annoyed the shit out of me because it's Charlie.
Yeah.
But it was just still, I keep saying Charlie is an archetype of dude that I know very well because I feel like I've grown up around people like him. I went to college with people like him. And he walks into this place, Slutty Vegan, with Ava, and you called it, Nat. And I actually, in my notes, I'm like, oh my God, Nat was right, because she's like,
business.
Oh, when Damon gets on the phone, all of a sudden Charlie like looks alive. Oh yeah, this is great. No, I'll help you out. We can get the liquor license. Like he's talking this big game, and it's like, no, daddy. Yeah. Your daddy will get Damon Dash this liquor license if you fucking ask nicely, Charlie. It's not you. And so he just walks around with this bravado of like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Like this is why it annoyed me, because I'm always that kid that's fucking hustling, eating shit, working multiple jobs, just never buying something unless it's on super sale. Not even like I'm waiting for the second sale, not even the 20%. I laugh in the face of 20%. Okay.
Yeah.
I need 50 or over.
Yeah.
And here's this fucking dumb dick that I'm seated next to at a dinner that, by the way, I can't afford. So I'm ordering like a glass of water and a spring roll, and he's like leaving his whole fucking tomahawk steak untouched, and I'm gonna have to pay 1/10 of that.
Yeah.
And he'll just be rolling out, you know, I'm doing a restaurant now with Damon Dash. It's this cool like vegan restaurant. We're gonna breathe new life into it. And it's like, when I was 20, I'm sitting here thinking, how the fuck did you step in shit and find a pearl time after time where you get to do this stuff? And I'm sitting here asking people if they want French fries or plantains with that for the last 18 years. You know, and no shade on waiting tables. I'm just saying it wasn't my dream job. Yeah. And he will just always be fronting that he's doing something he's not. And obviously, as I grew up, I'm like, but you're not. You're not doing anything. You're riding your skateboard around New York City
in those weird pants and your palazzo
all
pants.
day long.
Yeah. And like obsessively texting about a speaker, apparently a $200 speaker. He almost seemed like he was on drugs to me in like the incessant. But
he needed to fixate on something because he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have other things in his life. So he has to manufacture this drama that is non-existent.
Yeah.
And I just feel like what you had said last time is Ava might know from like her dad being a serial entrepreneur, like, oh, keep this person around. What you remember? You had said this last week.
Yeah, no, it's totally obvious that he has like weekly sits with her and is like, what's going on with him? What's going on with them? Who's her parents? What do they do? What's she into? And I think that he has programmed her. And listen, which is great. Like that, my parents didn't do that.
No, it's not. It's smart.
Yeah, to always just be like, not take advantage of people, but like everyone's got something to offer.
Work an angle.
Yeah, everyone has something to offer. figure out how you can be of service and how they can be of service. Everybody needs a team. Like two heads are better than one. You know, everyone's got like who do you like networking? It's just networking, and like that just wasn't something my parents really fixated on. So I think that was totally Mr. Dash. Like I think that that's why Ava keeps an open kind of door with the Charlies of the world, because like he would fulfill a purpose. He would serve a purpose.
Agreed.
I would be stunned if Charlie ever served a purpose for anyone. So it makes me wonder, Mr. Dash,
right?
Why are we? Where's the conversation about Charlie's relationship with his mother that we were going to have last week? Where did that go? Oh, we're ditching that because he's got your 30 grand liquor license?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I don't trust that you care about this dude or his relationship with women.
Yeah, I don't.
Second of all, what has Charlie, do you think Charlie's ever come through with anything? The phone call to his dad was add $5,000 more to the loan I already owe you so that I can buy silverware and a TV and have someone hang it on my wall. What?
That was so pathetic.
What, dude? What, dude? So like Ava and Mr. Dad, you're teaching her to go for the wrong people. Maybe go for his dad. Go to the fucking barbecue and shum up with the pops and be like, dude, this was the craziest play. I can't believe this. I never had a steak like this. So tell me more. Charlie says you're amazing at what you do. Fuck Charlie. Yeah. Go to Anwar. That's the guy you need. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but if it is true,
listen, let me clarify this.
They're doing a bad job.
That's what I'll clarify. If you are truly successful at this kind of thing, like you don't need to waste your, like you know that Charlie's not a good investment of your time. You know that. It would appear to me that this dude,
not that great.
I mean, look at the if the headlines are true and he's in a whole financial debacle and like he's just grasping at. If
Damon Dash and Jay-Z came up together, I'm guessing Jay-Z was probably the better business person at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, the way that I even know who Damon Dash is as an adult, like I knew of that name growing up just from the rap game.
Yo MTV Raps.
But I was reintroduced to him because he was on literally every fucking podcast that was like deep diving all the Diddy shit in the beginning of it. He was everywhere with that crazy lady who like sometimes might be onto something, but mostly she's just crazy. I can't remember her, but like. And he didn't have anything bad to say about that woman, and I was like, nothing. So, if anything, I just want to clarify that I don't mean that these are savvy business decisions. They all seem to really be like he is falling down something and just grasping at every, like maybe something will stick. You're always surprised. Sometimes you can be surprised at what would work out. It's
like guerrilla business, like guerrilla marketing. Like
exactly.
Just put it all out there, see what sticks.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
and also I'm sure that slutty vegan place he's getting on like a fire sale deal, and if Charlie can come in and he's not. Again, maybe this is the way Dame does business, where it's like, it's not real business.
Exactly.
This isn't how it's done. Like you sit down, networking, 100% real.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're in connections with people, you know what other people have going on, because a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You got to be out talking to people, all that kind of stuff. But then you also have like proper meetings and like there are contracts and there are agreements. So I think you're right that Charlie's probably never done anyone a solid.
No. Also, and this is fine. Tons of people take over businesses this way. Jax. Is my understanding, only from the show, is like these people opened 3 places, probably got a little ahead of themselves, and then now can't handle one of them. They don't want to close it. They're having him see, like they need somebody to just come and take it over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ready to roll. They just need the infrastructure. The infrastructure's there. They just need the capital and someone who wants to oversee it. So what it seems like.
One more thing is that I saw her do an interview, and I know she was being like half funny, but also every joke comes from some
little bit of truth.
And they said, how's your dad like loving your newfound fame or your whatever? And she's like, well, he thinks it's his show. I keep hearing him refer to it as my show. And she's like, Dad, it's actually my show. But like,
I believe that.
I believe she's overheard him on the phone saying,
100%.
so I got this show going now. And
I got to go film my
I
show.
gotta
yeah, I
go.
gotta
Yeah,
go
I gotta
film
go
my
film my
show.
show.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
get to
my
work.
call time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid's on my show.
Yeah.
I think you're on your kids'
She's
show.
trying to work with me. Also, what are the chances that I don't know if Anwar's doing this, but let's just have a little fun with this. What are the chances that Damon and Anwar are like, and again, I feel weird saying this, I don't think Anwar's doing this. I do think Damon might do this though. Let's get this place. You kids run it, and it'll be your little business. It'll get you going and blah, right? Story is old as time.
Yeah.
Dad, mom buy a fucking little franchise for the kids to run it. They fucking think it's so cool for 6 months, and then they smell like fucking French fries and vegan falafel.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then that's 10 years later. Well, I bought you the fucking Slutty V. What happened with that? I didn't like it. Right. You don't fucking like anything. Like what? And I'm not saying Ava would do this,
Yeah.
but like, it's now. I'm like, I wonder if that's
No way.
like looking
Anwar
into my
would
crystal
never.
ball. I don't think
Never.
Anwar would. I think Anwar probably already has, and he's learned his
Yeah.
lesson.
He's like, yes.
But I
doesn't
think
work.
something, this might be something Damon is like, well, I'll get this little thing, and then she can run it. And
Okay, I got that on the flip. Then that just makes me now think I would way more put my money on that Ava is actually doing her dad a solid
Yes.
by getting like, now that she's got the show, now that she's friends with this kid, now that she can call him and he can, his fucking face on the FaceTime will be on screen, and you're hearing this guy, he sounds like he's serious. I think that she might have watched her dad her entire life, always kind of just not quite always trying to get there, not quite. And if she can get him over on just one thing, like at least like that's something. Like I think she's doing her dad a solid. That's just my hot take. Natalie's completely baseless accusations.
By the way,
and
you were right here, and you were right also. We're going to be covering Love Island next. And you have another, Nat was right in Love Island. So I'm just saying, Nat, you've been right.
don't steal my thunder from whoever said, I'm always in on the girls. But Mike, you said the last couple of weeks, you said something, and I thought you were full of shit, and then it came true. Don't be stealing my thunder.
It's her. She's stealing it. All right, so then again, to me, this was interesting, but not like a big hoopla of a scene with Omar and Georgia having lunch. Again, I'm just fascinated by Georgia. I'm fascinated by this relationship.
I don't mean to not be fascinated by it, but it's
maybe I'm swallow.
I'm not a swallower.
Can't wait to save it for Love Island.
True. I like these two. Like I could be totally wrong. I know somebody commented. I don't know if it was last week or the first week that they went to school with Georgia, and she's a full blown Looney Tune. And it seemed pretty legit. Like,
Yeah.
which, all right, cool, fine, whatever.
I'm mad at her for it.
Yeah, totally.
Same. I think we know that about her. It's
Yeah,
why
I'm
we
into
like
it.
her.
Yeah.
But like, I could full on see Georgia being the hottest event planner in New York City for the rest of her life with her buddy, and they've been throwing parties since they were fucking teenagers. And she's married to a crypto finance dude who wears a suit named Omar, who's a little chubby but like super charming and doesn't really go out much. He doesn't like.
And like really genuinely loves her.
Yeah, and likes art, and like they do art galleries in their retirement. Like this is such a quintessential odd New York couple. Like they scream perfect in New York to me.
Yeah.
Anywhere else on planet Earth, I'm like, how did you guys even know each other?
Yeah.
But that's why it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Because
But
they're
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think anywhere else, I think that's my point. Like anywhere else, it would be fascinating. In New York, I'm like, yeah, no, that's like a deli on the fucking corner. That's nothing. That's a hot dog cart on the, like to me, it's so normal for where they are that I think it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I get the fascination, but I'm also like, well, no, that's a falafel cart on the. It's supposed to be.
I get what you're saying. I think why I'm fascinated is because, again, how I was saying with Georgia, like because I don't have her perfectly dialed in yet. she also could be trying to fit herself into this relationship because she doesn't want to be alone. He also clearly, he told a girl 2 days into knowing her that he loved her. So maybe this is a pattern and she just really doesn't want to be alone. And here's a guy who doesn't want to be alone, but they are like it could go either way for me. And I'm just trying to figure out, are all the weird parts actually fitting together perfectly? So that is the lid for her pot?
Yeah.
Or is this just going to be that time I dated someone in finance? And like, I can't believe that because her next boyfriend is going to be some like avant-garde painter that like she's throwing like the gallery party for. So like, I'm just very interested in who Georgia is. And every time she opens up about something else about her life, whether it's currently or when she was younger, you know, finding out that her dad bankrupted not just his business, it's the business her parents built together. That's another I mean, it's all betrayal, but like I would think that's another level of betrayal or an added layer because it's like, imagine if Mike did that and you've both have worked just as hard building this.
Yeah, no, that would be like,
I'm doing it for the views one day.
You're doing it so you could talk to people in the comment.
Yeah, for the clicks.
You made so many friends.
Yeah, I got friendies.
But yeah, that was, again, it's this scene, nothing really happened in it. I'm just interested in filling in the gaps of who this Georgia person is.
Yeah, me too. She's the most interesting person on the show aside. Like Riley is probably second. Who else? I feel like those two, I don't know.
The other two who are interesting and we're never going to fucking hear about them, unfortunately, are Shay. Is it Shay or Shy? Shay?
Shy. I love Shy.
And his buddy, Dylan. Like those two, I think are,
Dylan's
like, we need
a
more
star.
of them. Yeah. And like we talked about when Shy went to Brooks to help him with the sewing, and Brooks was like, I don't know how to sew. And then he like Shy sewed.
And he made his pants. I want the pants.
Right. But then we were like, man, it would have been a lot cooler if he taught Brooks how to sew. This week it seems like he did.
Yeah.
Because he went over and he's like, dude, you're doing such a good job. So I'm like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. You taught your buddy how to do this thing that he wants to do. Like that kid seems super sweet. When he went and sat with the Marxes and just like was like, I want to say thank you and blah, blah, blah.
Well, we're there now. We're at that caviar party where he did that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so sweet too.
It was sweet of him, but that dad is such a fucking weirdo. Like every time I watch, like he's, like I said, I didn't watch any of the Housewives, but I think that guy's a weirdo. And because he went to the pot, like the whatever, like, oh, are you fluid? And the kid was like, what? I'm just trying. He literally was like, I'm just trying to say thanks for the caviar. Like that was his final thing.
Are they trying to get rid of Charlie and Seth Brooks on the show?
Seriously,
because like it really went there with, like, listen, Seth was just like that was just awkward. If his role on this show should really be what we said episode 1, which is like your whole season on this show is literally just popping up in where Charlie happens to be and going, you have a few minutes, and just having those talks with him and like, because that's all we want to see from Seth Brooks is dadding to a kid that doesn't have that structure and doesn't have that relationship and whatever. It's really the only thing that could save either of them at this point is like if they both figure out how to work something out like that, because Seth has taken this pansexuality thing to a place that I'm like, it was a weird joke when you said it the first time, but like you had bought enough
good, you were in our good graces enough. Now it's just like, this is, I wish I knew you better. Like this is very awkward and I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, and I think you could be making these kids uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like Charlie's one thing. Charlie's an old man, but this kid has just looked like a little baby.
No, when he said that, like, I'm literally just trying to say thanks for the caviar.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you poor dude.
Yeah.
But also, like, one more of these jokes, and I'm going to be like, oh, you're serious. You want to fuck dudes. And that's fine, but go fuck some dudes.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Stay away from these kids and go fuck some
age-appropriate
dudes.
Yeah.
But, like, go fuck some dudes, man.
When Brooks says, when they ask him like what he's learned in New York, and he's like, I learned that I like men.
Yeah,
I feel like
my
God.
God.
Seth is like 5 seconds away from
Learning
saying that
totally.
same line.
Where'd you learn that?
Yeah.
Can we go there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, the only this scene only got started when Amira showed up. Who
Yeah.
I want more
Me
Amira,
too.
guys.
I don't know why they're holding out.
I know. I don't know if like
I think she's probably just busy.
that's what
She
I was
seems
thinking.
busy as
She seems busy as
fuck.
hell.
Yeah.
And I think it just is conflicting with the filming schedule. And they're probably just lucky they got her, is my
Yeah.
guess. I think she is so mature. I love when she is gonna speak on something. I am fucking sat and ready to hear because I think she has a great, not overly complicated take on things. Charlie never wastes a minute to come and shit all over someone else's moment. And when they were talking about going to that club box, he's like, yeah, let's go out and have some actual fun. And here's the thing, could have been taken two ways. Like, you and I are busy. We haven't like gone out and have, like had a great, we are soon. We're going to go to Cinespia, guys. I got the tickets. So like it could be taken as like, if I were saying to you, like, let's go out and have some like actual fun tonight,
Yeah.
right? That's not how Charlie was saying it.
No.
Charlie's saying like, this sucks and let's go have some actual fun because Georgia doesn't know how to throw a party. I don't want to be at my parents' caviar party. Like, wah, 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 you entitled little brat.
Yeah.
I get it. Maybe you don't want to be out with your friends' parents, but like, be a human. You're supporting another person. You're also filming a TV show and it's probably the only job you've ever had. You are getting paid to show up at this. So just have a good attitude about it. And then you guys can go out to box. This party's not going to go till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was gross. And then I wish Amira at some point, I hope that she has the opportunity to say the things that she says in her confessionals to whomever it pertains to.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's Ava. Like, I would like her to say, it's coming off a little entitled. And I think you should just give that a rest because I know that's not who you are. I know the best parts of you. I love them. Let that shine. Because that's what she basically said in her confessional. And I want Ava to hear that from her. Because I think the way
I think she did, though. I mean, I don't know if it was verbatim, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ava's heard that from her. Simply because of when Ava was like, really? She's starting a clothing line? Fucking what's her face was the only one to be like, that's fucked up. And like she said something straight to Ava straight away. That was basically like, what did she say? Something like I've people have said shit like that to me before, and I can't remember what she said, but when that happened, she was the only one that was like, that's not.
Got it. I didn't remember that. I was just thinking because Ava came so late to the caviar party, which was really rude. You're a block away or you're on the same block.
Yeah.
And you can't just show, I get it. Maybe you don't want to be there, but like you said you would go. And it's also your friend's event.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to go to support the parents, which by the way, we're all supporting your dad right now watching his show.
Yeah.
Just go to support Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's when Amira was just like, it's giving entitled, and I just think you should give it a rest.
Yeah.
And I think she said that in a really succinct, nice way.
Yeah. Yeah. We nailed her from the beginning too, of just being like, she seems to have everybody's like if she's the elevator pitch on every single person on this show. And I think that she could be so helpful to everyone. She's been through just enough and seen just enough and had to deal with just enough, but like on the horrible side and on the successful side, where I just think she could offer so much to these kids that are just.
That's why I want to see more of her.
Me too.
Then one of my top 3 housewives of all time shows up, Miss Candy Burris with her husband Todd and sweet baby Ace. And I loved watching Riley roll up to that. I'm like, oh, Riley, you're hungover.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember, when you're younger and like your parents are there and you're just like, oh, it's fine. I'll just get like a Bloody Mary with them, hair the dog it.
Yeah.
I think Candy's just such a good mom. When she's like, that better not be on the credit card that I pay. And she's like, you have too much money to be like wasting on this stuff. So like you could tell Candy was clocking this being like, great, then pay your own rent. Then you don't need the 6-month, 1-year buffer that I gave you. If you have enough to go out and spend $7,000 at a club one night, then you can support yourself.
Yeah. I like the way, like, here's the thing. I think that probably some people could take that conversation and go, oh, it better not be on the credit card I pay for. And, oh, you need to get your finances in order. Like she says that. And it's like, it could seem very light. like I've never watched Candy. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know her. I haven't watched a ton of Atlanta. I don't know who Candy is on the regular. I've heard her on podcasts I listen to and whatever. Totally like her. The vibe that I got was that she kind of played it like light there. She said what she had to say, but I have a feeling that when Riley gets home tonight, she's getting a phone call.
100%.
Because Candy's not going to blast her kid out and be like, "Are you fucking serious?" But I think she's like, she doesn't seem to me that Riley's going to get off that easy. Like Riley's an adult. I don't think she's going to treat her like she's 4 years old, but I think she's definitely the kind of mom that's going to call later on tonight when are the cameras still there? Did everyone leave? Okay,
Yep.
great. What the fuck is this about you spending? Like, do you know how much, like just,
Yes.
that's my take on that.
Agreed.
I don't even understand $7,000 nightclub tab.
Well, it was a $14,000.
I don't understand Amira split. I don't understand a 3,500. Like,
Okay.
what are you talking about? And
Were
what do
you-
you
One
guys
bottle costs
fucking
like
do?
$1,000.
Yeah. Were you ever someone, and I feel like I already know the answer to this. I don't know why I'm asking, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Were you ever a kid that went out and got bottle service in Hollywood? Like, did you ever go to those kinds of parties where it's like, listen, I never paid for them, but I'm a lady. But like,
I looked over someone's shoulders. They were paying that hefty bill.
Yeah. Like, did you ever go out to birthdays or like just events and you find yourself at a
As
place
a
like
20?
Teddy's and buy like in your early 20s?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Okay. Well, it is a thing.
It is.
I understand that popping bottles and getting a table. Like, I've done it. That's Hoferth Jay.
Oh,
He'd
okay.
like to
So
go.
then, so then,
But like, never once did Hofer spend $14,000 for a
Right.
table or a night in Vegas, in LA. I've never seen anybody who's not like, oh yeah, you can spend $14,000. You have a job where you make $1 bagillion. You own a $7 million house and 4 cars. Go spend $14,000 at the club. I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
You don't even know what you want to do as a job. You said that you wanted to do a job and your mom laughed at you. In your face.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know if that's great. Like, a DJ is a fucking job. It's a hard job and you got to be good, but like, it's not laugh in your face worthy, especially if your mom's from the music business. Like,
Yeah.
but also you don't know what you want to do for work. This other girl, you don't know what alpaca is. That's fine. You're learning. But I don't think you guys should be spending $14,000 at the club.
Oh no, they shouldn't. They definitely shouldn't
I don't
be.
think anybody should be, except for the people who are rich as fuck. That's rich as fuck stuff.
Okay, let's take this down to like they all were split. There's nobody who spent 14 grand. I think that Riley's part was going to be 3,500. She was splitting the table with, maybe it was Charlie, so it was going to be 7 grand each, and then her and somebody else were splitting that. So I definitely have been doing like inflation and New York City, like when this is 2 or 3 years ago for me and in Hollywood, which is like not anywhere compared. And it's also, I think that the box isn't just a place like in Vegas where like you have money to spend, you can get in. I think the box is like a very elite,
I'm not
like
saying
you can't,
anything
like,
about
it's the
that.
list of lists.
I'm not saying that the box shouldn't charge 14 grand for
Yeah.
a table and someone to fuck in front of you and have some titty girls and hot dudes bring you bottles. That's fine. 14 grand, great. I'm not complaining about what you're charging.
I know.
I think Jeff Bezos should have a good time
Right.
doing
You're
that.
saying these kids shouldn't be doing
Kids
that.
should not be spending 14 grand split 14 ways at
Okay.
a sex party table when none of them have a job.
Okay. I'm just telling you that this is the time that they do that. This is when I did those things, again, I didn't pay for them, but the people were my age.
Yeah.
I think that this is the time that you do it. And then you realize like, oh my God, I actually have to start paying.
Buy now, regret later.
Yeah. Like, I think
then
that's
think
the time
great
that you
too. Maybe
spend that.
Charlie can do a seminar on bankruptcy at 25.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of Charlie ends up at lunch with my cutie pie Dylan, who I'm obsessed with. This whole episode was shrouded in Charlie sadness, Charlie unraveling,
was.
Charlie Depressionville.
This is the kibosh on Charlie. If there was anything that he ever thought of himself that we did, like, oh, I've still got this facade going, that crashed and burned.
You don't.
over those 42 minutes of television last night.
And I think I have this note that when I was watching the scene, I'm like, oh, Dylan, the best thing you can do is cut and run from Charlie. And we see in the next episode, like in the coming attractions for the next episode, he says, I think being, living with Charlie has caused me to lose sight of my goals and to get behind on some stuff. And so I really want to like lock down this next month. And it didn't sound like he was blaming, like he wanted to take responsibility and fix things. But here's the difference between you and Charlie, Dylan. Charlie will never take responsibility. He doesn't know there's anything there to fix, or he's like, no, I like it that way. That I did it that you like, when you see someone, they've got like a really avant-garde outfit on and you're like, oh, I think that's on backwards. And they're like, no, this is how it's supposed to look. Yeah. And you're like, okay, right. Well, then it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like Charlie's just doing that with his whole life. We're like, no, you should want to get a job. He's like, no, I'm supposed to get an allowance until I'm 60. Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, well, that's just a bad look for you, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. And it's funny too, because obviously, we're all much older than Natalie, so we could tell you.
I know. You guys, I hope this is coming off on you, all this.
Yeah, this
my adrenochrome. You're probably going to try to get my adrenochrome from me.
I do every night.
That's disgusting and not what adrenochrome is.
You learn as you get older to not suffer fools as much as you did, right? And so when Dylan's talking about Charlie in his confessional saying, yeah, I'm friends with a lot of trust fund kids and good for them because I'd probably be living the same way if I had that kind of cash being doled out to me every month. And, he is really smart, but I've never seen him apply himself. Like he's saying things that are truthful, but he's not saying the full truth. Because then he says, and it never really bothers me unless I have to catch the bill for it. And then you see him later in the episode say like, Charlie owes me $4,000.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that Dylan's not being honest with himself about how, no, this guy is rubbing off on you in a bad way. He is never going to help himself. Like you would say these things more candidly and never even live with him if this was this side of 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have anything to say about any of this scene?
I don't think $4,000 is a lot of money if that's one night at the club. Like, what are you crying about, Dylan?
I think that you're taking what I said, not how I meant it. I just meant that, like, if you are going to be like your early mid 20s is the time to blow all your money because like you've still got some you
earning years ahead of you.
Yeah. Like if you're doing that at 40, I think like, oh, this is not a good sign. But if you're doing it in your 20s, I don't think it's a projection for what your life is to be forever. I think you're just like partying as a youngster. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Because when I was going out, all the time in college, and I didn't really actually go out that much after college, like high school and college. I saw these kids that just really wealthy trust fund kids that had massive tabs from getting a table, and I'm just like, I had Mike's look on my face like, oh, I'm not paying that shit.
Yeah.
I would never. Thanks for the buzz. But like they did it every single weekend. They also came to class in a Ferrari. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter.
Again, none of these kids are trust fund kids. None of them have Ferraris. None of these kids have $3,500 to spend at the club for one night. Not a single one of them. Maybe Hudson does because he's got the richest dad, and he seems to be the most respectful. And none of these kids have that money. I guarantee it. That's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And for the richest kid in the whole fucking group to then not pay, and for you idiots to be like, oh, he always says he doesn't have his card on him. He doesn't have a credit card. He filed bankruptcy 2 years ago. This motherfucker's not going to have a credit card for 10 years at least. Stop falling for it. What? So like, it was a little bit of like, I don't know if I'm buying all this bullshit. Like, you kids don't have this fucking money. Like, what are we talking about
No,
here?
but I think the way that they look at it is if Riley does do influencer stuff, she's like, it's one post. I get paid $5,000 for one post. So it's a fun Saturday night out we were filming, whatever it is. Like, I don't do it all the time. I'm not saying it's right. I think there is as my favorite Candy said, like, you have way too much money if you think that you could just be flitting all over
Yeah.
New York City paying $7,000 bar tabs, because
Yeah.
that is not acceptable.
And she's not going to want to keep paying her credit card if there is this extra money. And so maybe we see that. Maybe we see that.
And that's what I meant when I
Yeah.
was saying earlier, like, she's going to recognize, like, oh, if you have $7,000 to pay on that bar tab, then you can pay all your own bills, and I don't need to be working my
Yeah.
ass off to pay your bills. I'll work
Yeah.
my ass off to pay my own bills.
Yeah.
But I feel like in her mind, and with a lot of these kids, they are influencers. I think the way they're doing their there's girl math, there's boy
Yeah.
math. I think their 20-year-old math is, oh, it's this one post, I did it, the check's in the mail,
Yeah.
and that covers this night. Again, it's stupid, but you do stupid things in your 20s.
Yeah, kids be stupid.
Kids be stupid. Okay, I did love the scene when they all went out to dinner, and guys, we're going to the Jersey Shore.
Oh my God.
I'm
this is
so
very
excited.
exciting. And I love how excited they all were.
Me too.
Like, was Charlie at that dinner?
No, that's
Okay,
why
'cause
they
he
were
would've
all
pissed
talking about
over
him.
and been like, okay, I'll be in the Hamptons, or I'll like wherever the fuck,
100%.
Yeah. And I love how everybody was just like, oh my God, this is going to be the time of our lives.
And it is. The
Yeah.
Jersey Shore is the best,
Yeah.
kids. But I just think, and I'm pretty sure that Teresa's house, I know the original one was right off of Long Beach Island where I grew up.
Yeah.
That got knocked over during Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah.
They rebuilt it, so I don't know if she's bringing them to that one, but if she is, then
Brand new party pad.
but even if it's brand new, it's also like an area that I'm really familiar with, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
But I love how they all started to air the fact that none of them are into Charlie.
Yeah.
I love that Riley was like, how much does he get? Tell me. And in my mind, I'm like, he gets 10 grand, 100%.
Yeah.
And then when they were having that argument in the last scene that we'll get into next, when Georgia went after him and she said it, I was like, thank you.
And his crypto, the amount that she says that he makes,
Yeah.
like I knew that too. And that's why I was like, if you don't know how to trade this, you are just gambling,
Yeah.
or you are just turning money over and kind of, when I say washing it, I don't mean washing it, but just like
Recycling.
Like I used to trade all the time. And then when I was up, my dad, Eric, was a trader. And so he would ask me like, how's your trading? And I go, I've been trading the same like grand over the last, because like I'm just not taking it seriously anymore and don't have time to do it seriously, because you will just fucking lose if you're not doing it seriously. And so, but I'm still just buying and selling, but like there's nothing, I'm not losing anything, but I'm sure as shit not making anything. And that's the best that Charlie has to wish for, is
Yeah.
that he's just breaking even.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, then let's get into that. I mean, do you have anything to say about that girls' dinner? Or not girls' dinner, the dinner when they were all together, that group dinner?
No.
Yeah, I think it's
No.
just they're setting up the trip to the
Yeah.
shore and
Yeah.
just really honing in on the fact that, oh yeah, none of us like Charlie.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like when there's a meeting of the minds
Yeah.
against the villain,
Yeah.
just because someone's gotta
Yeah.
serve this kid up a piece of humble pie. And I think, so in this scene, it's Georgia, her business partner, Danny, and Charlie. They're getting, the two girls are getting lunch. Charlie stops by with his piss poor attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Could you take my speaker? And listen, should Georgia have returned the speaker on Monday when she said she was going to? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should you also have a million other things going on in your life at 30 years old that busy you enough to recognize, like, if I don't get this speaker back right now, it's fine. I'm not throwing a party. Oh, so my Xbox isn't as loud? Like, who gives a shit? It's just
Yeah.
because he has nothing to do but sit home and smoke weed and watch South Park and play Xbox that, like, he
Dude.
wants it to be in surround sound.
You guys,
Nothing wrong with
what
that.
happened? Like, what happened to give this kid the edit that he got yesterday? Like, it's all I can think about. What happened? Why did they even bring him on this show if this is what they plan to do? What was this, episode 4 or 5?
5.
5?
You
Like,
saw it in last episode. I told you, you can't ask production for favors if you're going to be a dick.
right.
And he asked them to not show his messy house and drugs. And they literally did a montage of his messy house and drugs.
Yeah.
Like that right there was the moment I was like, oh, production hates you.
Yeah.
You're out. You're fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
You're done. If you don't kiss every one of those motherfuckers' asses, you're fucked.
But like, it's
And
one thing to be
He
rude.
didn't.
And when you're rude and when you're just like shitty to like be around, like, well, like just to like, I'm just talking like not even to producers, but just to like camera guys and the audio guys and the people there that are just like fucking moving shit and whatever. You're a dick to them, then your shit, your weeds getting on tape, your messy ass shit is being filmed. But to completely annihilate him, what could he have possibly done to this entire show? Like,
No,
do you think-
that's just who he is.
Yeah,
and
that's-
he
I was just
doesn't
gonna
kiss
say.
ass. Like he's probably shitting on the EP.
okay.
When the showrunner comes, he's probably like, okay, dude, I'll do whatever. Or like he's
do it
probably
when I want
shitting on the
to.
producers.
Right. So these are like, this is exactly what I'm saying. He
Well,
had to have gotten to
all
a
of
higher
that,
level,
but also,
pissing off. Like, fuck you to
Yeah,
higher level
100%.
people.
Like, yeah. But even the field producers and the camera guys, like, they'll like, who's on the field producer's side? The producer. And then who's on the producer's side? The supervising producer. Who's on their side? The senior supervising. Who's on their side? The fucking showrunner. The showrunner hired all these people. They're not taking Charlie's side. If that shit comes up, hey, Charlie did this, that, and the other. What? Okay, well, just keep it out. Hey, Charlie did that. Charlie did. Let me see the edit. Fuck this kid then. Fucking smoke him. There's that. Then there's also Charlie's just a fucking dick. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a
Right.
plain old pretentious, shitty piece of shit. So like he probably thinks he's better than the executive producer or the supervising
100%.
senior producer. And he so he's just Charlie. Like, so he's being Charlie to all the people that are providing him with this platform who also have egos. Showrunners have egos. So like, don't fucking test me, dude. I control everything. I control the cameras. I control what we film. I control what we edit. You want to fuck with me because your dad's rich? Fire away, motherfucker, and see what happens. That's what's happening. They're showing
Okay.
Charlie what they can fucking do to him. And I'm not saying that's literally how this, but like
No.
in a little bit of
Yeah.
a way, the showrunners going, you want to keep fucking around? I'll get way worse.
Listen, all I am trying to say here is that, like, if you take into like yes, obviously the showrunner is on the side of the producers, but a showrunner is really that middleman in between his entire team and studios and networks. Like like those calls are like, you got to tell someone, you got to send your, not dailies necessarily, I don't know if dailies is the word anymore, but like you got to send your shit. You got to tell them what the plan is. They're seeing things cut together before there's any approval of how anything goes forward. Like it was just a very fast amount of time for a takedown. So it just makes me wonder if something even like you had to piss off literally everyone. And I'm talking about even the people in the high-rise buildings that like you don't even see if you're normally like just a part of any production staff crew. You know, those people don't mix. So like it really seems to me like it went above and beyond to completely annihilate a character in episode 5. Unless your entire reason for bringing him on was to basically fucking, what is it, military his ass, break him down just to build him up.
Well,
like,
sure, but
take
like,
him down to studs just to see like have him give him a redemption opportunity. Like,
how did the show do what you just said? What did you say? What?
Break them down to build them up.
No, before that, like, what was the word you used? You don't usually do this so fast.
Annihilate.
just annihilate.
Okay,
your,
how did
your
the
main
show?
character?
How did the show annihilate him?
How did the show annihilate him? Any show obviously makes decisions, makes choices, things that we're going to show of someone, things that we're not. We'll get into that with Love Island because I've got a whole thing about like how Ace is like, just they're showing very different things on this stretch of this last 5 episodes than they did for the first 20.
But at a point, so let's take out, let's say like I'm the network and I call and you're the showrunner and you send me this last edit and I'm like, I don't know, man. Charlie's like our guy. We're really banking on him. Can you take out all the bad stuff? So we take out the speaker texting. We take out the caviar party. We take out lunch.
We take out that one scene at the end.
We take out the scene at the end. We take out his buddy saying he doesn't. No, we don't. Where's Charlie? We don't have Charlie. The show's not annihilating Charlie.
Charlie's
annihilating Charlie.
All I'm saying is that characters on any show every day of the week can annihilate themselves, but there's a final cut person who decides what story are we trying to tell here. And I just think that something bigger must have happened for them, unless the entire time they cast this kid just to take him down. I feel like there is something bigger that has happened where they are giving up completely in 5 episodes of a brand new show of a very main character who we have focused on. I mean, it's like, I don't want to put him on thumbnails, but he's the story every time because he's causing so many problems. So it's just, I don't know what happened, but it just seems to me like a decision was made, and it's a pretty big decision to do that to someone this early on, unless it was the plan all along, or unless he really did something.
I think he's just been
next
a
level.
little.
They want him out.
I think he's been a little shit from jump.
Yeah.
I think he was probably annoyed when the Housewives kids were coming on, and I'm not doing this. It was supposed to be a fresh cast and avant-garde and real city kids. We don't need the out-of-towners from wherever,
Yeah.
Georgia, Jersey, all right? I think he was a shit from jump. Then I think they start filming the show and he's probably late and he's stoned all the time and he's bossing the crew around like they work for him. I think it was an accumulation of just abhorrent behavior, and they're just showing. Here's what I know about reality TV. Yes, can you get a bad edit? Can they put things out of order or whatever? But they can't use what you don't give them.
No. It's really. I'm with you on all that
Yeah.
stuff. In this moment, what would make the most sense to me is that this show started out one way. Charlie was a very integral part of what this show was in its origin.
But he still is.
I think that they made some decisions halfway through development, or maybe at the very end of development, kind of changed everything up, got these Housewives kids, got just a younger cast, just a whole different vibe. Didn't really know what to do with him. Thought, but he is friends with Brooks. He is friends with, he's friends with Ava. He's friends with Georgia. We think Georgia's a star. We think she's going to be a big part of the show. She kind of bridges the gap between him, and so does Ava a bit, just from a similar circle. And I bet you they were like, I think it could still work. I don't think we need to get rid of him. And he has been part of this, this is what the show was built on. They get into it and realize one of these things doesn't belong, and they just decide, well, I guess he's got to go. Like, this isn't the direction. But then they were fucking brutal about it. Great, totally deserved.
Yeah,
not saying,
no, it is deserved.
But just saying. I just think it's all very interesting. That's all.
He also did this thing to me, which is, it doesn't matter what you say after this because you've just crossed a line.
Yeah.
He so quickly went for her and he's like, you're a delusional bitch, Georgia.
Oh my God.
Call her delusional.
Dude.
Say she does what, you can dismantle her verbally in other ways, but there are certain words that once you call someone one of those words, doesn't matter what you say afterwards, no one's hearing it because you're just the person that uses derogatory language towards women, God forbid a racial slur or something like that. It's so below the belt.
No, it is.
And if you want to argue in a smart way, you don't do stuff like that, because now I'm just like, you're an idiot.
But you're not going to bring up him saying that he's going to slap her?
Yeah.
And then, sorry. I just am saying
worse.
Right.
You thought that, we heard that and thought that was the craziest shit.
Bitch was the nice part.
Bitch. No, and then
he
it's like,
straight up said he wanted to slap her.
No, I'm saying once you say that, I can't hear anything after that. But yes, no, the slapping
then
thing
you missed the part where he said, I want to
No, he's like, if you were a dude, I would slap you.
No,
he didn't?
Let me speak from a dude's perspective. What he said was, I want to slap you.
Well, what you're saying, what
you're translating it.
That's what he said.
No, he said if you were a guy, yes.
If he didn't want to slap a woman, he would have said, if you were a dude, I would punch you. You don't slap a dude.
Oh,
you fucking punch a dude.
Got it.
You you don't slap a woman, but you
Yeah.
you slap a
Like,
kid
no,
and
I
Thank you
a
for
didn't even
woman.
pick up.
You
I didn't
know?
even
Yeah.
pick up on that
Yeah,
that change
same.
Yeah.
of words. Yeah.
That guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh,
He really is.
Totally
It's
is.
If there was no
And let me-
cameras, he probably would have fucking thrown some. Like
And that's
he's
the
got
s-
that kind
I
of
could
thing
see him like
going on.
throwing his
Yeah.
drink in her face
Totally.
or something. Yeah.
And let's not
Button
forget,
in the
guys.
table just so it shoves in, like something that he's like, oh, I ran into the table. He could like fucking defend, even though it was indefensible.
100%. And let's not forget, we're 5 episodes in, and this is the second time he has threatened someone with physical violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Out of nowhere. Like, you just don't do that.
You know what's so crazy about this whole thing? Because listen, I'm not giving him any like he's only proven to be worse than I ever even thought. But like everyone, you know, in our comments and with you guys, just like, you know, talking a lot about like that where this stems from and how this is how he was raised and this is how horrible his father was and blah blah blah. And I've been so staunch about like I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. Like this is like only into how he keeps continuing to live his life.
Yeah.
Like I don't take that as an excuse to keep shitting on every single person around you like over and over and over and over again. But with the things that he said to Georgia, I am now way more open to like whatever because I just feel like that's such learned behavior. And like if that's got to be something that his dad has said and has threatened and has maybe his whole life. Maybe that's how his dad. And I don't know. Again, still not an excuse. Still on that team of like you are your own. You are the master of your own domain. But God, Anwar must be. I mean, he. I wonder if he abused his wife. Like I wonder if he was like. I wonder if he ever did see his mom get backhanded or you know just I don't know. Just open
he
up.
didn't lick
That was
his-
some fucking crazy behavior that I don't see a lot these modern times.
You know, it was
know?
crazy. And he
Yeah.
clearly doesn't lick that shit off the grass.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he's learned it somewhere,
Yeah.
from somewhere, or someone rather.
Yeah.
And
I also have another question about this.
yeah.
Do you think, and this is a total like nobody can really answer this, but I'm just wild question. Do you think that in times like this, his dad sees this and goes, "Told you guys," like, or does he go, or is he now? Oh, now like I can pick on my son, you guys can't. Is he now threatening the fucking show, the fucking network, that like making calls saying I will buy this entire like I you know like it's just
Yeah. I think that's a good question. And Shannon Fall, I think we were joking about it, but she had said something about that Anwar doesn't seem like someone who would stand by for a
Yeah.
family besmirching.
yeah
And we kind of went back and forth about that. And I agree, like he doesn't seem like someone
yeah
who would stand for a family besmirching. But that I don't. If I'm leaning towards the first one, I'm leaning towards he's more like
told you
fucking
Yeah.
told you the
Yeah.
kid's a fucking piece of shit, man. I've tried for 30 years.
Yeah. I think you're
I'd
right.
give him money. I've fucking busted my ass to my other kid ain't like that. I don't know. I'd still try. So you know what I mean?
yeah
I just, how on,
He's probably
Any
calling
level.
him. He's probably calling the Charlie and being like,
you fucking embarrassed us.
"You motherfucker! You said what? You know how a fucking camera works? You piece of shit!" Like
yeah
he's
you're
probably
so stupid.
Yeah.
You were
Fuck.
so stupid.
yeah, just
What a
his dad,
moron. Yeah.
listen, just because you're smart in one area doesn't mean you're smart in another. I've always said this. I love how the Greek, like historically, I don't know if this is how Greek culture still looks at being a genius, but they never said like, oh, you're a genius. They would say you have a genius,
yeah.
meaning like you have a genius in the area of music, in painting, in finance,
Yeah.
whatever. So his dad clearly has a genius in finance. Clearly he's not a genius parent or a genius
Yeah.
partner or anything like that. I just don't understand. If you are a finance guy and you understand a good investment versus a bad investment, how do you look at your kid who has done nothing since the day they have graduated college or, you know, graduated from getting their master's and think it is smart for you to consistently dump $120,000 minimum
Yeah.
cash
Yeah.
into their bank account every year? You're just lighting on, and Andy pays for his apartment, I think, right?
That's what we were trying to figure out because when we did realize that it was on, listen, I say this in the context of how much it costs to
Yeah.
live there. and like the lifestyle that he clearly partakes in day in and day out every single day, has for 30 years.
Let me just sum it up real quick if I can. The point we're getting at is 10 grand is nothing.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe us, it costs 14 grand to go out to a nightclub.
Yeah. No, end of story.
Yeah.
That's a half a nightclub.
So he must be paying for his rent
through that
like,
allowance
separately. Maybe he has some credit card, or not his own. Well, I don't know, but it just seems like he was living much leaner than I had thought when they came up with that amount. I was like, that's not a lot.
My point is, how is the dad looking at this as a wise investment, that this is helpful to anyone?
No, it's almost like he's part of the cycle of just like if you're someone who was a jerk off parent and you've got remorse about it, but you're never ever it's not even in you to ever admit that to a point where you're going to change anything up or admit it so that anybody even has an idea that you might actually be accepting that somehow inside. You keep the cycle going, because then it just like you never have to deal, like that 10 grand is nothing to him.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
like,
He doesn't have to, he will never say sorry, but like, here's his penance for being a shitty dad.
Right. But it also still proves to the world again, it gives him just enough rope to hang himself to where he continues to do that. So you're always looking at Charlie being like, you're such a fuck up, and never looking at the dad like you had something
to do with it.
Or like, he's not as big of a fuck up as you made him out to be or whatever. Like, no, he is. And I'm going to give him just enough to prove that he is, because it's not enough to do anything with really in New York City, but it is enough for him to do absolutely nothing and feel like shit about himself and make all the worst decisions. And so anybody that ever thought it was my fault, just look, he will prove it to you month after month.
Also, let's keep in mind, we are not millionaires. If we were, and we thought to ourselves, I want to work really hard and provide a life for my children, we would put $6 million in an account that gets 4% every year, and then you'd give your kids 120 grand each. You're not giving your kid, like Anwar's not giving him a $10,000 check every month. 10,000 goes to the daughter, 10,000 goes to the son. It's coming off of interest from the 6 million he put into account 10 fucking years ago. Like, so it's not that literal too, you know, like there's a chance Anwar forgot that he fucking is giving this kid.
There's
money.
no way, because Charlie comes back every month asking for more, and he's like, isn't 10 grand enough for you?
It's not like, it's not so literal the first of every month this guy's sending money to the
but
kid.
my point is, you're a finance dude. You know what numbers, you know what makes sense. You know this is a bad investment. This kid has not done 1 ounce of good with the money that you've given him. He hasn't turned his life into something more.
Yeah.
You gave him a starter. He turned it into a tree. He's grown it. He's pruned it. He's now got a tree farm that he's selling to other people. Like,
and listen, you're right. But with that being said, like, fuck, maybe the daughter gets 40 grand a month, because she did take her hotel masters and go work at a hotel or start a business, you know, like, so maybe his dad has already been like, well, I already set this fucking thing up. I can't not give you any money, but I'm making it the least amount of fucking money per month that because you're a fucking waste.
That's where people go wrong. Yes, you can, Anwar. You can just cut him off.
Yeah.
My parents did it. It's real easy. You just don't pay any bill, and you transfer it all to your kid's name, and you say, this is how you figure it out. You have a master's. You have a first-class, world-class education. Figure it out. If that means you have to wait tables, then guess what, buddy? You got to wait fucking tables.
I wonder if he has any plans on doing anything for him, making him come. I'm not going to take this money away, because I don't even believe that you've got the wherewithal to know how to make it on your own anymore. Like, I've raised you to be completely useless. So you were going to show up from 8 to 6 p.m. every day at this address, at this building. You were going to help everyone there out. If you don't show up for a day, I'm 30 days divided, or 25 working days, whatever it is, divided by that. That's how like, and I don't know.
Pay.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. It's just docked, and I don't know. Maybe he doesn't care enough. Maybe.
I think there's a part of it that it's like buying the guilt. Like, okay, I was a shitty dad, this, that, and the other. So anyway, should we do the commies?
Yeah.
Okay. Katie, I think it's Milio or Emilio. Georgia is the next Sonia Morgan. Totally here for that, and that tracks. And
yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm like, Shit, that could be something.
Yeah, love it. Here for it.
And not for any, nothing negative out of it.
No.
Just like they've just got a personality that's like.
Honestly, I really like that comment in all seriousness, because the same things I like about Georgia, I like about Sonia.
Yeah, I think that we've just talked about Sonia in a way that's like, no, you want to see a real drinking problem? Like,
Oh,
this
well,
is a problem.
yes,
So we're
there's
not
that.
trying to say it's just like the eccentric side,
Yes.
the just like peppy and lovely and good time and yeah,
Yeah, like
different.
Sonia seems to have a
Bringing
good
unique
heart and-
perspective
yeah.
on things. Yeah.
Okay. Meteor Wine said, I'm feeling some kind of way about the show. I just don't know which way yet. I mean, it low-key has potential. Charlie is just like blood in the water. Such a good way to put it. We will see what other goodies they will serve up. It will just make me thirsty. So far, the Showmance summaries have more Riz than the show 100%. Thanks for giving us the Riz comment. But no, I get that, because it is such a new show.
Yeah.
Like, that you're trying to, it's why I keep saying, like, I don't know how, I feel like I haven't put the Georgia puzzle together yet. I'm learning more about Abel.
Yeah.
We're learning all these people. So
Yeah.
for me, that's a fun experience just as a viewer, because I like the new adventure. Because this is what happened with Summer House. Like, when it first started, the first season was just whatever.
Yeah.
But it was enough that I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I know these characters that hustle from 9 to 9 in the city Monday through Friday, and then want to come out to their share house. And so I think this show has enough, Meteor, if you stick with us, that it's going to pay itself forward if it gets renewed again.
I wonder if, God damn it, I already forgot what I was going to say again.
Oh, no.
I wonder if I feel like he wrote that not before. Like it hasn't been since last night's
He
episode.
did, because I actually replied to that. I was like, well, it just spiced up last night from last night's episode.
Okay, so he wrote that before this. Okay, yeah. Because this episode was not like any of the other ones. Even the way that it was shot, everything about it was different than what we've seen thus far. So
Sorry, wait, everything what? Say that again.
like even just the way that it was shot and the way that the story was presented to us felt different than any of the other episodes we've seen so far. So like I wonder what's next. Like I really was intrigued by last night's episode more so than I was the other ones. They were all fine. They just felt very formulaic and very
we're
like
cooking with
we've
gas
seen
now.
it all before. This was like it was almost like they let the director kind of run with an idea last night, and I thought it was gritty. You know, it was good. Yeah,
yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Nettie, agree with Courtney. Yay. Oh, and Nat. Agree with Courtney and Nat. I got ahead of myself. Charlie. Enough, Charlie. You're grown. Don't blame dad because you yourself don't want to get off your ass and do something with your life. You yourself gave up on yourself. Stop projecting blame and take accountability. Parents aren't always the scapegoat. I feel secondhand embarrassment for Charlie and his parents on how they're all being portrayed on a national platform. We just kind of touched on that. So interesting. Jaybird444 wrote, Next Gen is an absolute hit. Agreed. The same way Southern Hospitality is and OG Bravoholics get it. And I love that y'all are covering it. And without Charlie, this is who said it. Without Charlie, we don't have drama. He's our sexy villain, the guy we love to hate and we want to love.
Sexy villain?
I think she means it in a colorful way of like anyone's like the sexy villain coming in. I don't think she actually thinks, well, maybe Jaybird, tell us, do you think Charlie's sexy?
Don't tell us.
Yeah,
No, please do. Because what if she's like, no.
If it's a yes, I don't want to know.
Okay, great. Only tell us it's a no.
It's a no.
That's what makes Natalie most comfortable. Okay. Shannon Fall wrote, waiting on condescending people is the worst. When I was 18 working at Outback Steakhouse, high class, I know. It was my first day serving and I was nervous. I had my whole spiel prepared and was waiting on a 60-year-old couple. I walked up to the table smiling, and before I could say anything, the lady said, Stella Artois. And I said, nice to meet you. The lady gave me the nastiest elevator look I had ever received. And that's the day I learned what Stella Artois was. And
I fucking love that.
I thought that was hilarious,
I
Shannon.
Love
that. Those were the only ones I pulled. Yeah, he's a flying Minnie. Minnie's makeups.
Minnie's makeups, cash your charge. Minnie's makeup announcing we take Apple Pay.
I want an appointment at Minnie's makeups.
Yeah.
Shannon Fall, the deluge on the golf course brought me joy. It brought me joy too. And I don't know if we talked about this, but I thought Ava was the only one giggling in that whole scene. And it kind of bummed me out that everyone was like all pissy. but it was Ava's golf cart. Was everybody, Damon, Ava, whoever was in the back, were just busting up laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That scene was so cute. The whole
yeah.
thing. I can't get wet. I'm in Goose Town.
Yeah. And then just to defend Brooks, Pat, I don't know if I said this last time. I probably didn't because it was in that episode. But like the amount of times you think you lost your
no, you did say this.
your phone on the golf cart.
Yeah,
I did?
yeah.
All right. Well, it deserves to be said
Yeah,
twice.
no. And then you went into the whole rangefinder, and the first time you got a rangefinder,
That's
you made,
right.
Hold
Yeah.
on, wait. Do we see Georgia? Did Georgia think she lost her phone this whole time, but really found it behind her bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
I love that.
Me too. I love
So
that for her.
classic.
Yeah.
I miss the laptop.
That's a good, I just want to
Can
say,
someone
that
give me
is
a
a
hot
good
spot?
sign. And like people may be like, that's a good sign. I often am looking for something that would be like the equivalent of looking for glasses that are on your head. There are like, sometimes like I just go on autopilot and like the keys were put back in the secretarial in the drawer and like, but there's no way that I believe that I was that
Organized. Yeah.
to do that. The fact that her phone did make it home with her and did make it into her bed and whatever. I don't know. It just is like it speaks well. She might have a nice little autopilot that like we're not seeing. You know, that's always good.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Because you remember in college when you would party your tits off and you'd wake
Yeah.
up the next morning, you're like, my ears are
Yeah.
okay. Or like, I was always really impressed with myself when not only was my jewelry put away and my socks were in a ball,
Yeah.
but I took off all my makeup.
Oh yeah. That's nerd alert.
Okay. You know what?
I knew that. Oh, my jewelry's gone. Oh, the police have it in the bag though. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Keep going, Mark. Sorry.
Nettie, I still can't watch this show. I just feel like I lose brain cells, but I'm here for the recaps. An analysis on stupid is smarter than just stupid.
Ah, thanks, girl.
You don't know how much I appreciate that comment. Because I do like this show, but I am losing brain cells. I can feel it, but it's okay. Another Nettie. Brooks's dad sounds thirsty as fuck. He's on some sort of campaign to launch some self-serving thing. Do they
Yeah.
pay him too for this scenes or for his scenes? How does the pay structure work for all these extras trying to make the cast relevant? It's a good question. I don't know.
So on Housewives, the husbands don't get paid, specifically if it's a new franchise. So maybe later on down the line, like in Jersey, the husbands are such a big part of the show that maybe Joe Gorga, Dolores' ex-husband, Frank
Yeah.
Katanga, like maybe these guys are getting a check now. But I think the way they look at it is their wives are making so much money and it's kind of all like going into the same pot or whatever. But the kids didn't get paid and the husbands didn't get paid, specifically when the shows were new. And this is a new show. So I'm assuming that just the kids are getting paid and it's the same thing.
I have a friend who was is married to someone who was on a reality show, and then they tried to reboot that reality show. And my friend is a producer, and they tried to get him on the show, and he was like, "Cool, what's my deal?" And they're like, "Oh, there's no deal. We just want you to do these scenes." And he was like, he's a really good producer, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing that." And they're like, "Oh, well, why don't we just sit down for lunch and we can chat?" And they literally, he was like, "Sounds good to me." And they literally set up a meeting to like bring in the big dogs to produce my friend into going on the show. And he fucking produced their asses right the fuck out of his house.
Amazing. Did they not know who they were talking to?
They apparently not, dude.
Wow,
it was one of my favorite stories. that
That's
he
so
tells.
good.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
And if they even do main characters, sometimes if they're super new and they've never done anything before, they make nothing those first seasons. So
Yeah.
like I could see him doing it for free just because he's like just trying to like
Yeah.
stay relevant, and because he's on Salt Lake City, probably doesn't get
Yeah.
paid there. Now he's gonna pop over here and it's his kid's thing, and
Yep.
he can try out his pansexuality here. I'm sure there's some perks for him here and there.
He's just trying to get some
Um,
more brand deals.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked at all if they didn't. However, this show also is about the kids of Housewives. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was more of a chance that the Housewives cast actually does receive, even if it's nominal. Like even Amanda Batula was talking about how her first few years, even when she was in the main cast, she only made 25 grand every season.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now later on, I could see them paying a Seth Brooks a 25 grand because who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe nothing though.
Interesting. This is a praise comment, which I always feel silly reading, but it's
And
a
yet
comment.
here we are.
Yeah. Now it's more just like what we've all, and I say we, I include everyone out there too. Just what we've built here, like what Showmance is, that it's everybody doing deep dives. It's not just us yapping deep dives for you guys to listen to. Like you guys all chime in with your thoughts and we talk about it. And I don't know, I fucking love it. And so does Sanastasia. I hope I didn't butcher that. I love you guys, and legit, you guys are my friends that I
We
discuss
are.
my reality TV with, since no one in my actual life does. You deserve all the subscribers. People are sleeping on this channel. Totally appreciate that. But I just appreciate that's what we've done here. And
Yeah,
again,
me too.
you guys included all of us. Like, I don't know if we set out to build that, but we did, and it's the best thing that could have ever happened. So I love that you feel like we're your friends. We feel like you guys are our friends, and we love that there's this place that we can all get together and talk shit about a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
This is Nettie. I like Nettie. I'm sorry. Oh no, and I didn't even get the whole thing. It's just the first part. We're just talking about food and if you could return food. Nettie says, I think it's okay to return food if you do it respectfully. It teaches the staff standards as well. It's not their fault. The kitchen will learn not to send out, and I didn't hit the read more before I screen you out, but just not to send out food that wasn't right.
Totally.
And I never thought about that. Like they want to get better too, I presume. So
Oh God, yeah. And I think we were all saying that too. Like there's, of course, if it's wrong, send it back.
Yeah.
If there's a hair in it, you send it back. I just meant like there's a way you can send it back
Yeah.
that's kind, and there's a way you can send it back and be like a dickhead.
Yeah.
You know,
And then my reaction was just because like lately it has just been like back to back to back to back. Like, does anyone work here? Like anyone?
I need a Diet Coke.
Yeah. Like, or
With that being said,
anything. But
Jennifer,
then
we had Jennifer. We
at
just
Four
went to dinner
Seasons at
Sunday.
Colina, we just
But
bopped
it
over
was
there.
at the Four Seasons. But yeah, we were across the street. We did go, and this dude,
Yeah, she was
Amazing
perfect.
service.
so
Yeah,
fucking
everybody there,
good.
every single person there. They had a guy for every single part of
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we just got some, some margarita pizzas and some pasta and like,
nothing.
pretty like simple
Little
deal.
date night, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
little
like,
date night.
cute.
yeah,
Mom and Dad are going on a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do Sunday night date nights.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, someone was inspired by my Sunday family fun day.
yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, you're welcome. It did. I know.
The other thing, if you don't send it back, and you do pay $100 for that meal or 200, God knows whatever it is, you're no better than Charlie's dad, just giving him money for doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's gonna learn here.
That's exactly right.
This is Marianne Shepard. Here's the thought. Charlie said if he gets 99 on a test, his dad said, why not 100? He never feels good enough. His father setting the bar so high caused a lack of self-esteem. Charlie's failure to launch is his fear of failure. His fear of never being good enough. He lashes out at his friends because they have what he needs, namely self-esteem.
I mean,
I
after
know-
last night's episode, like I got nothing for this
Yeah.
kid. Like
Yeah.
I thought I had nothing for him already. I got less than nothing now, and I'm wondering if you've shifted at all. Like all the things we can always find out why, and I think that we do that on this show every week is try to figure out why someone is that way. There's nothing left for me. Mary Elizabeth Butler says, I love Charlie, authentic New York man child. Gotta love authenticity. And to that I say, do you?
Do you feel differently after this week? That's what I would like to know.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an authentic New York man-child, but I think maybe we need to get rid of that
I agree.
personality
That
type.
could go extinct.
Yeah. At a certain point, you just don't need them anymore. Just like you don't need a cassette player in cars anymore. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Don't need
Kitschy.
it.
Don't need it.
Yeah. Just don't. Shannon Falls says, I'm trying extremely hard to hold space for Charlie's Tiffany heart necklace, but it's more difficult every time I see it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going on you won't hold any. That space was just filled with.
It's so bad.
A fart.
Okay, closing out with truth. Da 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 da. As I watched Charlie and his father walk and talk together, I kept relating Charlie to the character Holden Caulfield from The Catcher in the Rye. Both are whiny and arrogant. Charlie embodies teenage angst even though he's 30 years old. He has arrested development. I think there's a lot of his story that the audience is in the dark about, specifically his trauma. Hopefully his ending is different than Holden's, which ends in a mental institution. I can relate to Charlie in the fact that my father also never misses an opportunity to hurt me. I will kill him, Truth, just so you know. The difference between us is that I don't take a dime from him, so I'm not obligated to see him. The last time I saw or heard from him was Thanksgiving last year when he made the 6-hour drive. He's a great husband to my mother. I just think he never really wanted kids.
Her comment reminds me of something Dylan said when Dylan goes, yeah, Charlie called me one day and he was like, hey, yeah, let's go to this party. It's going to be awesome. No adults.
Yeah.
And Dylan goes,
Yeah.
we are adults.
Yeah.
Like Charlie's unwell
Yeah.
to say that. So
No,
anyway.
I think,
Dude, that's
I
crazy.
think
I
so
can't believe
too.
we didn't talk about that. That was a huge
Yeah.
thing. No adults.
Cut and run, Dilly.
Yeah. One more thing just about that last scene that I just thought was kind of interesting. It was almost as if, like, I know that like the back and forth about the speaker thing. I know that was obviously an irritation to Charlie. But by the time that they got there and how quickly that meltdown happened, but Georgia was like, you didn't see it on Georgia's face. Like you didn't see that happening. And then it just happened. And then it was like, it blew up. And then she said everything that you could ever say. Like she didn't hold back anything.
She nailed it. And she didn't back
totally
down.
nailed it. And I'm glad that she said all of that. But it would seem to me like a lot more probably happened at some point during the week. Like maybe some texts came, maybe some shit talking happened. Like that just went 0 to 60 so quickly. And it was so either a lot happened and then so she was just ready to pounce, or she knew that she was going to pounce because she was cool and calm when it started. And then I don't know, the way that it went, I feel like there's missing pieces here, and I'm just always dying to know what the missing pieces are of all these little things.
Yeah, there's definitely missing pieces because when they sat down, she said something and he was like, to be honest, Georgia, I'm ready to have less of you in my life.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I feel the same.
Yeah.
So like definitely something.
No, she said, because he goes, oh, I'm working, like I'm going to be opening up this thing with Ava and her dad, and it's this nightclub kind of thing. And she goes, I don't know why you wouldn't involve us in that because we literally throw events.
Yeah.
And he's like, honestly, I want less of you in my life right now. But I think whether the pieces were missing or not, which I agree with you. Obviously, we didn't see all of it. What I really liked was how Georgia, she is not afraid of confrontation.
Yeah.
And I think he left and she just went right back to eating her vegan Thai food or whatever the hell it was.
Well, because she's from New York. That's why I said, like, I went to New York a million times and I didn't love it until I got in a fight with a dude at a liquor store or at the gas station for trying to cut in front of me, in front of a bunch of us. Like I was third in line. And I was just like, I'm going New York on this motherfucker. And I just was like, I spoke my mind. Like I said what I was feeling, and he said his piece, and I said my piece. Like we didn't get in a fight, but it was like it was just like in New York, you can tell people how you feel. Yeah. And it sounds rude because nobody does that anywhere. But it's not rude. I'm just being honest, and you can be honest back, and we're just having a conversation. And then it worked. He fucking was like, oh, all right, fine, and got in the back of the line, and I was like, this is the best place on earth. You just work out your problems right in front of people, and it's amazing.
It's not for me.
It's that's what I mean. That's because Georgia's from New York. Georgia is New York.
I'm so programmed to be like passive and just like deal with things in the moment. Keep the temperature down, and then go home and just talk a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's LA.
That's
like,
my steez.
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on LA, but like here, everybody's like, "Oh my god, you guys are so amazing!" And then you get home and you're like, "Dude, those two are fucking idiots." But you can't say that to their face because you might get a job or a role or directing thing. Yeah, like I'm gonna get my big break from that guy one day.
Yeah,
he's the best.
Yeah.
And then once you're famous, then you can tell him he's a dick.
Yeah.
But
when he says to her, when he says the line, I'm the reason you're on this show, you wouldn't even be on the show if it wasn't for me. That spurred me to wonder if like he had gotten any word that or felt like people were trying to push him out, or like it just, like I said, this is no basis. This is just me watching how that whole thing unfolded, and then that line to kind of come out of nowhere. It felt like it didn't, because
she literally said, everyone hates you. And he's like, you're the only reason I'm the only reason you're here. So like if they all hate me, like you only know they hate me because I put you here. I think that was how that got in
Yeah.
there. Anyway, we have to do another show, so I'm just gonna say like and subscribe.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye. That's a terrible beauty queen wave.